Hey everybody, this is Dan from Nocones Garage. On this episode, we're doing a track day at Road America. In this episode, I'm going to talk briefly about the car, do a walk around, and then show just a couple videos I took during the track day at Road America. It's a local track to me, about 4 hours away from my house, but I just haven't ever had a chance to get up here. I saw that Gridlife was running an event here, so decided to register for the HPDE group. Alright guys, I'm here at Turn 3 at Road America, and I just wanted to do a walk around. I know a lot of people aren't maybe familiar with my other project car. So this is my 1978 MG Midget. It's a tube frame chassis. It's a 13B rotary. It weighs about 1,500 pounds. The rotary came from Grassroots Motorsports, the magazine. They had it in a project car. They put a Mega Squirt on it, and it made about 165 horse at the wheels. So it's got about that right now. The running gear, so I'll get in here and show you the back, start at the back. So the rear end's a Type 2 Torsen out of a Miata. The uprights at all four corners are Mazda Miata. The car was originally built as a D-Mod autocross car, so I've got things like, you know, 1/4-inch plate scatter shield, and all the requirements to allow me to run SCCA, run slicks, full non-DOT slicks. Front suspension is push rods. In the front, I'm using CBR 600 F4i front springs and shocks, and then I've got this little adjuster here, allows me to change the spring rate. Transmission is a stock RX-7 trans, and then I got this I'm using a stock tail shaft for the shifter, which puts the shifter way back here, and then I built this kind of crazy adapter thing, but it works pretty okay. Don't really have any issues with missing shifts. So here's the rear shocks. Rear shocks are from Yamaha R1. If you're going to use R1 shocks, just make sure you get them from the same years. There's some subtle differences in the shocks. The spring rates are different, and the way the remote reservoir attaches and is oriented is slightly different from year to year. For all four shocks, I took the preload out, which these run normally. It's a fair amount of preload. It's probably almost an inch of spring compression of preload. That doesn't affect your travel. You know, you still get, these have about 2 inches of total shock travel, maybe a little bit, about 2.3. So the preload doesn't affect the shock travel, but it does, you know, obviously limit your droop, your suspension droop, because your car has to have that much weight. And I found without that, you know, the car was really harsh. It needs that extra, you know, that extra bit of shock travel, or of spring travel, so should say. So now when you lift the car up, the springs, you know, they're free to rotate, and they're just barely touching with the shock fully extended. So we're back at the shop. I didn't have a chance to take the wheel off to show you the front suspension in any kind of good detail. So it's dual A-arms, uses a 1996 Miata upright. Lower ball joint is stock Miata. Upper ball joint is a 3/4 inch rod end. All the A-arms are 1 inch 125 wall DOM. Very overkill for the weight of the car, but it works. You can see the pushrod suspension. You can see the patch job I had to do at Putnam Park. I was going around turn 9. Got into the curbs a little bit too much on the pit entry. Pushrod broke off. So I welded it back on and reinforced it. Didn't do a lot of damage to the car. Hit the hay bales at about 15 miles per hour. The rear suspension, I showed you a little bit from inside the trunk. It's again just stock 96 Miata uprights, Miata brakes. Running the stock Miata bushings on the top, and then on the bottom is the it's a 1 inch piece of tube with a 3/4 inch sleeve, and that's the stock Miata cross bolt. So Road America is a really big track, got a lot of high speed straights, high speed corners. I was nervous about bringing the MG up here. The MG's only got about an 80 inch wheelbase. You know, it's not unstable, but it's just not the recipe for good, stable behavior. However, the car's always behaved nice, so I thought it had a reasonable chance of being entertaining. So Saturday sessions were all in the rain. I was concerned that the car was going to have some issues with water tightness. I haven't ran it a lot in the rain, but I was pleased that all 5 sessions I never had any issues due to water. You know, car ran, never had any misfires, and everything worked. Headlights, taillights, everything worked all sessions. Rain was, you know, nervous. Had to run a different line, run the rain line a little bit, and just obviously cornering speeds were slower. Turned out the lap times were about almost 30 seconds slower in the wet versus dry. On Sunday it was dry, really perfect weather for a track session. Enjoyed watching the Gridlife sessions run, and got 5 good sessions on Saturday and 5 good sessions on Sunday. that's it here from Road America. Had a really good time. Enjoyed running with Gridlife. Car ran all sessions. Ran good, and really had a good time. Definitely recommend you get out and come try Road America. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this opportunity to look at my other project and see it in action. Thanks. Bye.